Welcome back to Daybreak Newspaper Review segment. Let's look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, where the major story is talking about bandits kill 4 and abduct 150 in Zamfara. 2 babies among abductees and some women escaped with broken limbs. Below the headlines, we see National Assembly mulls constitution review for INEC to conduct the local government polls. Federal government donates 20 trucks of rice to each state, including the FCT. Trump emerges presidential candidate, picks J.D. Vance as his running mate. Below the major story, we see Port Harcourt refinery takes delivery of 1 million barrels of crude oil. Court restrains Bayero and 4 others from parading themselves as emir. Hardship, don't stage protest, clerics urge youth. There's, of course, the voters' queue to cast their ballots during the 2024 Rwandan general election poll at a station in Kigali yesterday. Below the pictorial, we see travel agents excited as UAE lifts visa ban on Nigerians. These are the stories that you'd find on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
All right, for The Guardian now, for The Guardian newspaper, we have Nigerians at risk of food crisis as inflation hits new record. Now, we also have, again, Kyari gives early August promise on Port Harcourt refinery. Still on the front page, Tinubu may transit minimum wage bill to NAS next week. Well, we're looking forward to that. 16 political parties withdraw from local government poll in Osun State. And we see still on the cover page, Lawan disowns anti-tinubu comment amid moves to sanction Ndumi. More on that on The Guardian newspaper.
All right, let's, of course, discuss with our reviewer, Dr. Theophilus Abba, the program director of Daily Trust Foundation. Good morning, doctor. It's good to have you.
Good morning.
Yeah, it seems we're in a bit of a time that we have to just roam through, and I have a lot of topics that I want you to talk about. But first of all, let's talk about today's insecurity matters. We woke up to bandits abducting people, even in the FCT, the Kwali Area Council, and then there is one in Zamfara that is also happening. Are you not tired of hearing about all this, insecurities in Nigeria?
Well, I think I'm not the only one. All Nigerians are tired of hearing about this insecurity. And for me, the good news we want to hear is how these bandits are crippled, so that they don't carry out the activities. For instance, when you talk about banditry and terrorism and others, one of the things to study is their strategies. Now, these bandits, we already know their strategies. We know that, look, whenever they want to attack a community, they come in, multiples of vehicles. They carry 2, 3, 4 persons on the vehicle. They have weapons. Now, these vehicles are not just 2 or 3. In this case, we heard that they came in about 150 motorcycles. We always say that, look, when people are victims, you may not be able to count. But when you talk about 150, somebody say 150, it means that the motorcycles were very, very many. So the fundamental question is this: what has happened? Is it that we don't have security men to say, okay, if we have so many motorcycles going to a particular community area as a red flag, that something was about to happen? And you see, all this while, we discuss Zamfara and Katsina, especially these 2 states. Zamfara, Katsina, okay, maybe Kaduna State. And we have discovered that, look, again and again, they use the same approach, the same strategy. They go to villages, abduct people, kill people, and they go away. And every time they want to carry out their attacks, they use the same strategy. So the question is that, why haven't we countered, those strategies? If you know that, look, these guys are predominantly oppressing a particular, area. Why don't we wear that place with security? Why don't we take measures that will say, okay, as soon as we see 4, 5, 20 motorcycles in the direction, is a red flag, we'll do something. Even yesterday, we heard that some bandits imposed a fine of 150 million on some villages. And people are already paying, they say 15 million per village. People are going to do menial jobs, people are selling their houses, selling whatever they have to pay. We don't, it shows that
the government are not really working. Let's just put it out there. Of course, let's just put it out there, Doctor. Speaking about, people not really seeing the same story over and over. Talking about this refinery, where they say the Port Harcourt refinery is taking delivery of crude oil, and we're seeing Melekari say he gives early August promise on Port Harcourt refinery. These promises has been moving from month to month. What is your take on that? Well,
we are looking for early August. I'm happy that this year we expect that the Dangote refinery will begin to dispense refined products, and we are hearing that Port Harcourt refinery, and that would be really good for us. You see, because as soon as we start buying our own fuel, as soon as we start buying locally refined fuel, it means that our forex, the amount of money we need to import fuel will reduce. But you see, the reason why people are tired of this kind of timeline is because I was reading a magazine, even this morning, First Magazine, and I was told that the original plan by the Buhari regime in 2017 was by 2020, Nigeria should be exporting refined products. 2020 was about 4 years ago. We're supposed to be exporting refined products, going by the timeline, from 2017, 2018, 2019. He said, with what we have planned, by 2020, we'll be exporting refined. And that was from, there's what we call the 7 big wins of the Buhari government. They said, they wanted to be exporting refined products. It didn't happen. So we expect that this will happen. If I were a newspaper editor, and as soon as Port Harcourt refinery begins to churn out fuel that we can sell in our petrol station, to become a lead story. Because we have talked about this for decades.
For decades.
Say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to reduce import, and it didn't happen. So I encourage the NNPC, GMD, to ensure that this deadline is realized.
Yeah, we're actually going to follow it up and see that it's realized. Now, the story I want us to quickly comment on before we go is federal government donates 20 trucks of rice to each state, including the FCT. What do you make of this?
I think it's a positive development, because we have hunger in the land, and we expect that if we 20 trucks, I don't know how far it can go, because the population of Abuja, we are not less than 4 or 5 million.
And let's not forget the fear callers. We had a call in and they complain about the party ruling in that state tend to be the beneficiary.
Although
you have that, yes?
It depends. I think largely depends on for the FCT is a minister. We have a very powerful minister of the FCT, and in the state the parties. But we are advocating that the political party leaders or the governors should not only concentrate on the areas where they have supporters. Because if you want an election in a state, you are actually like the father of that state. Let me use that word loosely. Like the father of that state. Whether some person voted for you or not, you must ensure that this thing reaches them. And I want to say that if it is a one-off measure, it will not go very, very far. We want the federal government to do much more. We are expecting them to import, food. Because there's actually scarcity of food in Nigeria. It's not just the prices that are very high, but scarcity. You go to the market, you can't even find. When you used to buy yam, you go there, you cannot find yam to buy. When you used to buy rice, you go there, you cannot find rice to buy. I think that is one of the reasons why you have this inflation. So if we wet the place with goods, of course, the law of demand and supply will set in. If there's a lot of supply, then the price will go down.
So opening border, you agree with that?
I think as a temporary measure, although we're advocating that, look, you open the border, bring in food, but then what you need to do to deal with this food insecurity is to reclaim the land that bandits have taken over.
Indeed.
If you don't reclaim those land, then we'll continue to have this problem.
In fact, you've just said it, Doctor. I appreciate you. Honestly, we have more stories to dissect, but at least we spoke on the major ones. We covered the major ones. I appreciate you, Dr. Theophilus Abba, for joining us to dissect the front pages. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Of course. And with that, viewers, we have come to the end of Tuesday's Daybreak on Trust TV. Please do stick around. At the top of the hour, Adeni Ajishafe will bring you 360 Sport. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Do have a lovely day.
And I am Lilian Ogazi. Do have a lovely day.